Have you ever wondered about, the really deep questions? Where did everything come from? What actually sustains us? Or even what is consciousness, really?
It's pretty amazing, isn't it, how ancient wisdom, sometimes just a few lines, can offer such a direct shortcut to these huge insights about reality.
Absolutely. Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're not just reading old scriptures. We're really embarking on an incredible journey into three of Hinduism's foundational texts. Truly profound ones. The Prashna, Mundaka, and Mandukya Upanishads. Think of this as your, let's say, personalized guide. We want to unpack these really rich sources, pull out the key nuggets of knowledge, maybe some surprising insights, all tailored for you.
Yeah, our mission, if you like, is to make this ancient wisdom feel clear, engaging, and actually applicable. We'll look at how they're structured, their main teachings, and how together they kind of paint this comprehensive picture of the self and the universe.
Helping you grasp the core ideas without getting totally lost in the weeds. So let's dive right in with the Prashna Upanishad. The name itself means question, which is perfect because that's exactly how it's set up. A systematic series of subtle, deep questions and their answers. It makes it, surprisingly accessible, actually.
Yeah, it really does.
Picture this. 6 really earnest students, right? They've done a year of intense spiritual discipline, and they finally go to their teacher, Sage Pipalada. And their questions, they start huge, like cosmic scale creation, and then they zero right down into the most personal bits of human experience.
And what's so clever, I think, is that deliberate progression. It's structured. Starts macrocosmic universe orders, then moves step by step to the microcosmic, the individual self. It really feels like a curriculum for understanding reality.
A curriculum, yeah, I like that. So question 1 from Kabandhan cuts right to it. Where did all living beings come from? And Pipalada's answer is just brilliant. Simple but deep. He says Prajapati, the creator, wanted to, create, so he created this fundamental pair. Prana, the life force, consciousness, kind of linked to the sun in daytime, the active thing. Right.
And Rai, its opposite, representing matter, form, links to the moon and night, the receptive principle.
It's like the ultimate cosmic balance, Prana and Rai. Everything that exists, literally everything, comes from this pair interacting. It really sets the foundation for everything else in the Upanishad.
It does. So, we have creation. Then Bhargava asks, well, what forces actually sustain a being? And which one is the most important?
Good question.
Pipalada talks about a hierarchy space, air, fire, water, earth, our senses, all important. But he concludes really powerfully that prana is the absolute key, the essence. Without prana, the body's just inert. There's even this beautiful hymn in the text praising prana as the ultimate sustainer, the breath of life itself.
And that leads perfectly into the next question from Kaushalya. Digging deeper into prana itself, where does it come from? How does it work in the body? How does it leave? Right. And Pipalada clarifies, prana originates from the Atman, our deepest self. But more than that, he breaks it down into 5 types, or divisions, within the body: prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana, each doing specific jobs.
And why break it down like that? It shows that even our, basic bodily functions aren't just random biological stuff. It's all part of this intelligence system stemming from that one core life force.
Exactly. Understanding these divisions, for ancient yogis especially, was key to controlling and directing that energy, aligning inner and outer worlds. It's incredibly systematic.
It really is. Then Gargi takes us somewhere even more subtle. Consciousness itself. Waking, dreaming, deep sleep. What's going on there?
Yeah. Pipalada explains how our senses and mind kind of withdraw during sleep, but the pranas, the life energies, they keep working. Vital functions continue.
He describes dreaming as the mind creating its own internal world. But the really crucial bit is about deep, dreamless sleep. He calls it a temporary state of unity, like a brief merging back into Brahman, the ultimate reality. A little taste.
That's amazing, isn't it? That something we do every night could be a hint towards ultimate reality. So what about practice? Meditation. Satyakama asks about meditating on Om. What are the results?
The sage explains it's layered. Meditating on Om based on how many parts you grasp. A, U, M leads to different places. Just one part, the A, gets you back to the mortal world. 2 parts, A and U, lead to the lunar world. A higher realm, but still temporary.
But all 3 parts, A, U, M, fully understood and meditated upon.
That leads to the Brahman world, to liberation itself.
So Om isn't just a sound, it's like a map, a vehicle.
Exactly. A progressive path guiding the seeker towards dissolving that sense of separation. Ultimate freedom.
Okay, and the last question, number 6, From Sukesha, this one's really metaphysical. It's about the Purusha, the supreme person, and his 16 parts, or kalas.
Right, the 16 aspect.
Pippalada's answer is profound. He says these 16 parts, and it's everything. Life force, faith, the elements like ether, air, fire, water, earth, our senses, mind, food, even austerity, actions, the worlds we experience, our name.
Wow, that's comprehensive.
All of it resides within the Purusha. They aren't separate things added to the Purusha, they are expressions of the Purusha.
Ah, I see. So the point isn't just listing them.
Exactly. He's saying everything we think of as distinct, our life, our senses, the world, it's all fundamentally part of, an expression of, that single unified consciousness, the Purusha.
So understanding the Purusha means seeing beyond the parts, realizing their source.
Precisely. Liberation isn't about getting rid of the parts, but realizing they are all expressions of that one.
So the whole Upanishad beautifully moves from the tangible, observable world right down to the most abstract concepts.
Yeah, and it constantly highlights needing a teacher, asking sincere questions, and disciplined practice.
Always pointing towards that ultimate oneness of the individual self, Atman, and the ultimate reality, Brahman.
That really does bring the Prashna Upanishad together nicely, a systematic map. Now let's shift gears. We move to the Mundaka Upanishad, which comes from the Atharva Veda. The name Mundaka it suggests something that shaves off ignorance, liberating you from error.
Like a razor cutting through illusion.
And it's another dialogue, this time between a student, Sanaka, and the teacher, Angeras.
And this one really makes you think. It draws a very sharp line about what kind of knowledge actually matters for liberation.
Yeah, it might challenge some traditional ideas about what's considered important spiritual learning.
Definitely. The Mundaka, you could say, challenges conventional ideas about spiritual progress. It's not just presenting concepts, it's pushing for this radical reevaluation. It champions direct knowledge, self-realization, over just performing rituals or accumulating intellectual facts. It starkly contrasts higher knowledge and lower knowledge.
Okay, let's unpack that. Lower knowledge, aparavidya. This is basically all the stuff we usually think of as religious or scholarly knowledge, right? The Vedas themselves, phonetics, ritual procedures, grammar, etymology, astronomy.
All the traditional disciplines, yes.
The Upanishad says, yeah, this stuff is valuable for living a good, pious life, maybe getting you temporary rewards,
Right.
But it's not enough for ultimate liberation. It keeps you stuck in samsara, the cycle of birth and death. It even calls chasing rituals blindly unsafe boats. Ouch.
It's a strong statement, isn't it? It's not dismissing them entirely, but asking about their ultimate aim. Are they the goal or just steps along the way? Then it presents higher knowledge, paravidya. This is the real deal.
The knowledge that lets you know the imperishable Brahman.
Exactly. It's the knowledge of the universal self, Atman, the ultimate reality. And crucially, it's not gained just by reading or thinking. It comes through direct experience, through realization.
And how does it describe this Brahman, this imperishable? It uses these really vivid analogies.
Yes, the spider analogy is famous. Just like a spider spins its web out of itself and can draw it back in.
Or how plants grow from the earth, or hair grows on a person.
The universe arises from Brahman, is sustained by Brahman, and eventually dissolves back into Brahman.
So Brahman isn't just a detached creator, it's the source and the substance, both the material and the efficient cause.
Precisely. And this directly leads to its core message, non-duality, Advaita. The individual self, your Atman, your deepest core, is identical to Brahman, the universal self. They aren't two separate things.
So the path isn't about becoming Brahman, it's about realizing you already are Brahman.
Yes, through introspection, meditation, looking within.
And it gives that other great analogy, the bow and arrow.
Right. The Upanishadic teaching is the bow, your own self, the Atman is the arrow.
And Brahman is the target.
And through focused meditation, that arrow hits the target, you merge. You realize the identity. It's a call to inner practice.
Wow. And then there's maybe the most famous allegory of all, the two birds.
Ah, yes. Such a powerful image. Two birds on the same tree branch.
One bird, the individual soul, the jiva, is frantically eating the fruits of the tree, experiencing life's ups and downs, pleasures and pains, driven by desire.
Busy, caught up in it all.
While the other bird, the universal self, the Atman, just sits there calmly watching, silent, detached, unaffected.
And the turning point.
The turning point comes when the first bird, maybe tired of the constant chasing and suffering, finally looks up and sees the other bird. It recognizes its own true nature in that calm, watching presence. And in that recognition, its sorrow just vanishes.
Beautiful. It perfectly illustrates how suffering arises from identifying with the fleeting experiences, the fruits, instead of our true, unchanging self, the witness.
And the Mundaka stresses this realization isn't easy. The self can't be attained by the weak or the careless.
No, it requires certain qualities. Truthfulness, sakya, austerity or self-discipline, tapas, right knowledge, jnana, and self-control, often translated as celibacy, brahmacharya.
And liberation, moksha, what's that like? It's described as complete freedom, fearlessness, bliss, where the individual self just merges into ultimate reality. Duality ceases, separation dissolves.
A state beyond description, really.
Okay, so that's the Mundaka. Powerful stuff about higher versus lower knowledge and the path to realization. Finally, we arrive at the Mandukya Upanishad. And this one is, well, it's unique.
Very unique. It's incredibly short, just 12 verses.
12 verses. But arguably the most profound, the most foundational for understanding consciousness and the self, Atman, in relation to Brahman.
Despite its brevity, its influence, especially within Advaita Vedanta, is immense.
So how does this incredibly concise text help us understand our own consciousness? It feels like it offers the most direct path.
It really does. It's amazing how much philosophy is packed in there. The Mandukya zeroes in directly on the nature of consciousness itself, and it uses the sacred syllable AUM, or Om, as its framework, its key.
It declares right at the start, AUM is the entire universe, past, present, future, and even what lies beyond time. Everything.
Then it breaks down AUM, connecting each sound to a state of consciousness we all experience.
Okay, so the A sound, that represents the waking state, Jagrat. Our normal awareness, directed outwards, dealing with the world through senses and intellect. What we think of as reality most of the time.
Correct. Then the U sound, that represents the dreaming state. Svapna. Here, consciousness turns inward. We experience subtle things, thoughts, images, feelings generated by the mind itself. A different kind of reality.
Still a realm of experience, though. Objects and subjects.
Yes. And the M sound represents deep, dreamless sleep. Supimdi.
This is that state where there's no awareness of the external world, no dreams. Just a kind of unified, undifferentiated consciousness. Often described as bliss, but unconscious bliss.
A state of potentiality almost. Undifferentiated unity. No objects, no subject experiencing them.
But the Mandukya doesn't stop there, does it? It introduces a fourth state.
Exactly. This is the crucial part. Beyond A, U, and M, there's the silence after the Om. The unpronounced aspect. This is Turiya, the fourth.
Turiya, and what is that?
It's described as pure consciousness. The consciousness that underlies and also transcends the other three states, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. Think of it like the screen on which a movie plays. Waking is one movie, dreaming is another. Deep sleep is maybe the screen when the projector's off.
Ah, but Turiya is the screen itself, always there, unchanged by whatever movie is playing, or even when it's blank.
Precisely. It's described as silent, shanta, auspicious or blissful, shivam, and without duality, advaita. It is the true self, the Atman. It is Brahman.
Wow, that's incredibly direct. So the ultimate message of the Mandukya, then, is that core Advaita teaching.
Absolutely. I am Atma Brahma. This self is Brahman. That's the essence. In fact, another text, the Mundaka Upanishad, goes so far as to say that the Mundaka Upanishad alone is enough for a dedicated seeker to gain the knowledge needed for liberation, for moksha.
Just 12 verses. That shows how potent it's considered.
It really does. So looking back across all three Upanishads we've discussed, the Prashna with its systematic questions digging into existence,
the Mundaka drawing that sharp line between worldly knowledge and the higher knowledge of the self.
and the Mandukya diving straight into the layers of consciousness itself.
There's a really consistent message, isn't there? It's all about moving beyond the surface understanding.
Yes, they all converge in their own unique ways on that fundamental identity. The individual self, Atman, is one with the ultimate reality, Brahman.
And this isn't just, abstract philosophy from millennia ago. It feels like a direct guide for us right now, understanding our own consciousness or place in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. These texts can provide those aha moments. They cut through the noise and offer maybe a shortcut to some profound insights about who we are, what reality is, and what true freedom means.
They even give us a framework for understanding everyday things like our own sleep and dreams, but through a much deeper spiritual lens.
It reframes the ordinary.
So let's leave our listeners with a thought, building on that mandukya insight. Considering Turiya, that pure, silent, fourth state of consciousness that's always there, beneath waking, dreaming, deep sleep.
That unchanging screen.
What if our true self, that undifferentiated awareness, is actually always present? Just waiting beneath the static of daily life, waiting to be noticed. What might shift in your own perception, your own experience, if you actively tried to tune into that underlying stillness, even just in moments of quiet during your day?